What's up? It is the 4th of October. Another Friday is on us. And, guys, I love to talk about inflation, really understanding what's driving the perceived price of things to go up. And we know, I mean, it's hard to quantify, it's hard to fathom, it's hard to keep looking at. It's a matter of how much currency is in circulation is what's driving inflation. The fact that we have shoved so much currency into circulation by bringing down the interest rates to the twos, we're not going to see that again. We're just not. Just know that. Let's get to understanding that's not going to happen without, I'll put this a little bit on here, without some sort of external force to drive it down. So let's look back 30 years ago. What was happening 30 years ago? What was the value of things 30 years ago? And the thing that I looked up, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you look it up right now. If you go to Yahoo Finance, the DJIA is 42,423 is what its valued is up at right now. It's up $106 today. So 42,000 is where the Dow Jones Industrial Average is. You go back 30 years to 1994, guess what the average price was? 37.94, 3,794. We're at 42,000. It was 3,000 back then. I remember when it broke 10,000. I was in my office and there was Charles Schwab guys running up and down the corridors. There was an outdoor type of, the offices, but it was outdoor walkway. It was the building had basically, when you want to go from office space to office space, you had to go outdoors. But you had guys with their shirts off, running up and down, they're waving their ties, white shirts. March 29th, 1999, the Dow Jones Industrial Average broke 10,000. I've been in the industry just over a year at that time. I got in December 1997. This is March of 1999. I've been full-time in it, a very short window of time, because I spent my first year in that working two jobs. I got a job driving truck over the road to Sacramento and back. Freaking miserable. Let me tell you, you guys who haul freight in California, God bless you, because that state don't like you at all. So that miserable ass crap, I had to drive back and forth, go to my office a couple, 2 or 3 days a week, try and build up a refinance type of business, if you will, because I was working for a broker. He posted ads in a newspaper. That's how we got it, guys. And the phone would ring and you pick up the call and see if you can refinance the person. That didn't work. I did that for a few months, actually. Sacramento back, day or two in the office, Vegas and back, day or two in the office. Did the best I can to try and spend some weekends at home, barely paying the bills. Got another job running heavy equipment. Used to dig swimming pools before I got into this. Went back to the same company. They had an opening. Get up at 3 a.m. actually, be the yard by 4, be at the job site by 5, be done by noon, be at the office by 2, work till 10, sleep 4 hours. That was my life for about a year until things broke down below 7%. We started interest rates in the 6s. I started getting a little bit of traction. I could replace my income. Well, March of 1999, the Dow broke 10,000 and now we're at 42. Again, inflationary. That's what it is. It's inflation. It's money going into it to push these things up. It's not that these values are really there. It's the amount of capital that we have that's being pushed in. Now what are we looking at? We got inflation supposedly under control, right? Talking about things a little bit more under control. So the Fed dropped the rates 0.5%. But that doesn't really affect our mortgage rates. We've shown it's actually pushed the interest rates up a little bit because it's kind of inflationary. What else is happening is inflationary? We got the dock worker strike. Inflationary. We're going to have fewer goods available to us. Therefore, the price of any goods we have will go up. Massive, massive strike on dock workers, entire East Coast and into the Gulf. That's going to be a massive problem. What just happened in North Carolina? Now, whatever your political or whatever conspiracies you may believe in, and I'm with a lot of you on that. I was in Florida. I was watching the hurricane alerts. The hurricane sat there and just churned over Cuba and Cancun just for a long time, literally for like 20 some odd hours before it started to slowly move up. And then they literally mapped the trajectory out of that damn thing. These guys are good. I don't know anybody's that good. They can map its exact trajectory back then before it even left Cuba as to where it was going to happen. And it landed and it did massive devastation right there. So now we have all the understanding about lithium mines and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy to consider. If you want to start stacking everything up, a lot of A lot of coincidence. Let's just say that. That's the best I can offer you because I don't have any backroom conversation recordings to throw anywhere else. You start looking at the continuing claims. Continuing claims are pretty flat from 1827 to 1826. Initial claims have gone up from 221,000. You see, from 219,000 to 225. So it was revised from 218,000 to 219,000. So we've seen that happen. Non-farm payrolls, we're seeing those actually going up. So we're seeing a little bit. The average work week is dropping tiny bit, but now we're going to have all these people unemployed in North Carolina. We have all these dock workers not working. What's that going to do to inflation? We already heard from the Fed just in the last week saying, hey, we may slow down what we're doing right now. Well, I was guessing we get at least one break this year, one federal rate cut this year. We've had the one. I don't expect us to have another. That's my personal thought, especially with all that's going on right now. The docks situation, what's happened over there in North Carolina. The fact that our administration got so generous to give each family $700 compared to the hundreds of billions of dollars sent overseas for what the hell ever. So that right there is some interesting data. I think that's going to push our I'm going to push our interest rates probably continuously up because of all the inflationary reasons. Now, why is that? Why is inflation going to be a thing that push rates up? Well, think about this. If you're investing money somewhere and inflation is eroding your buying power, your dollar's ability to spend, and you put it into a place where you're getting a flat rate of return, is that flat rate of return benefiting you or is it hurting you? We talked about how to use it in the 30-year fix that you're actually not paying back your mortgage. You're not even paying back what you borrowed because inflation is eroding your dollar. But if you lock it into a 30-year fixed as an investor, not the person borrowing money, the person that lent the money, you're not making your money back. So of course they want to put it into something that's going to go up with inflation, which is going to be stocks, provided they continue to go up. But man, we broke 40,000. I was surprised. Now at 42, we're going to be hitting 43 probably in the near future. 42.4. I'm not sure where we're going to land on this thing, but yeah, what's going to end up going. I'm just not convinced that we're going to see interest rates get better. Let's look at the charts here, and I can show you what I'm seeing and what I'm believing. So we know this channel I've talked about. This represents the value of the security the day they announce quantitative easing. This represents that yellow line on top, represents the value of the security at the end of the day that they announce quantitative easing. So this is where that value is, just with them saying, hey, we're going to put money into it. And if we look back historically here, we spent a lot of time in this channel. Look at this, a ton of time in that channel. So this right there, to me, shows us as a pretty significant barrier. Well, if this barrier, and look, we actually tried to pierce it today. Tried to pierce the barrier. It came above it. There's some other points right here. You can see right there. This actually lands right on another line. I'll draw this out so you guys can kind of see. There is another support right here that is sitting right on or getting right up to. So we got that support there. So we've got a few things working inside the channel as well. But once we break below this convincingly, I am not certain we're going to retain this height. So if you're in a position where like, I want to wait and see if the rates go down and wait for the election, don't. I would say you might want to get in on this now because we have no idea how long this is going to hold out. We're in this channel. This has proven to be a pretty formidable force. Look at it back in history when we got into it. We've been below it. And that's we broke through that back in 2022, and we have not convincingly been above it since. So this is a pretty significant barrier to me. This is Aaron Chapman. It's just my anticipation. All the people are claiming otherwise. I don't know where they're getting it, other than if we have a massive stock market crash, money's got to go flow somewhere. As we showed before, when we had a massive hit in the stock market, over 1,000 points, that was here. We saw that breakthrough and rocket up, but it stopped right on it. So I'm not convinced. You can't convince me with what data we have right now. There could be more that's going to change it, but for right now, I would say if you're holding out, don't hold out long. So I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday.